Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Alexis. I am a disabled powerlifter from Pennsylvania and an exclusive athlete with Buffbunny collection. Today I will be presenting a in-depth review and try-on haul of the new Lift Like a Lady collection pieces. I, for one, am excited to see more fabrics like new braid fabric, collagen fabric, that are a little bit more supportive and compressive to be categorized for people who are into strength training. It's always a good idea whenever you can get your hands on the PDF from an athlete or the screenshots of the PDF in the Buffbunny collection community broadcast channel. It's always a good idea to take a look at the pictures of that PDF. That way you know what fit updates there might be to some of your favorite items that might be returning with a new improvement or a twist. We have a beautiful pastel, very girly color palette, including the return of Dahlia print. As always, my Sheerness test is performed using dark printed colored underwear. That way y'all can see exactly the type of products that you are purchasing for bottoms. I know we work hard for our money, and I want y'all to know exactly what you are getting. As always, my updated measurements will be listed in the description box below, and there are timestamps on this video in the description. You can click around to your favorite items. Thank y'all for all of your support, whether it is just watching this video, following me, leaving a nice comment, and following me on my Instagram page. I just truly appreciate it. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we have the new-ish and improved SPHYNX Seamless Sports Bra. So we've seen the SPHYNX Sports Bra before, but now it's coming in seamless fabric. It has this beautiful keyhole opening, high neck line, great full coverage, removable bust pads from the inside, seamless kind of sculpting to it, and a wide racer back kind of scoop open back design as well. So going over the details, this is doubly lined all throughout, even the bottom band. Woven shape, this is going to be the bottom of your bust, and then this is the longer line. Knitted contour line. The ribbed material throughout the bra shelf portion is at an angle, and at the bottom it is a vertical direction. Keyhole opening, that is a flat seamless fabric that is sewn over the edges, and at the top of the neckline and keyhole, that is sewn really nicely. It seems super durable. Going over it, it's very smooth. Because this is seamless fabric, this is going to open up pretty wide, so you can put this over your head without disturbing your makeup. That angled ribbed fabric, but then it switches up woven directions when it comes to the connection of those straps, and then it creates the vertical ribbed. Buffbunny collection just always does such a great job with their stitch quality. It's robust, but it feels nice and smooth and super durable. Dyed Buffbunny emblem, U-shaped back. From the inside is a slight stitch seam in the very center. Bust pads don't move around too much. Are removable from a slit on the side. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot to report for this sports bra. The Revolution sports bra, lining up the bottom of the bust. These are definitely long line. And for general measurements, the bottom width is covered 12 inches, around 8 inches, 11 inches, a little under 2 inches, and at about 2.5 inches at about 4 inches. It is comfortable. I don't feel like the seamless is itchy or anything. It is super flattering, but it's not actually super functional, because with the seamless fabric, and I have like a softer body type, it just rolls up so badly. And that was the same issue, the reason why I didn't like the original SPHYNX bra. It had this ribbed material that ran horizontal. It was so susceptible to rolling up. This is seamless fabric, so I didn't expect it to roll up as much, but it definitely does, and that's just not in my preference. You can see I have really no support there. No neck tension. There's plenty of stretch in the neck areas. If you line up the bottom band where it starts, that is really the end of the bra shelf. So you should place it there, and I think that this keyhole opening lands in a nice place. It's not like too low. You have great amount of coverage. The side profile, this swoops downwards into the back, not the maximum amount of lat coverage, and I do find that the seamless material just kind of keeps sliding downwards as I'm wearing it around my apartment. I have that really beautiful wider racer back design. From the other side, be large and small bust friendly. I think if you have a smaller bust, it still gives you the illusion of like being sexy and having like, you know, a curvy body. But I think if you have a larger bust, this is also going to look really great on you because of the shape of the neck. I think it's just done so well. Seamless fabric from Buffbunny collection does snag and can run as if like pulling nylon stockings. However, for the bras, I haven't really had any issues. For the leggings, I've definitely had seams pop or, you know, snag the fabric. Just kind of be careful that you're not using this bra for like high intensity interval training on concrete or something. So I would say it's good at sweat wicking, but it is going to show sweat, so that's just something to keep in mind. Stretch this out so it does have quite a bit of room in the bust area. So I would say definitely stay true to size. You can potentially size down if you want more compression and support, but if you size down, you're also going to risk that back band really digging into you, because as you can see from here, it doesn't sit super nicely on my frame. Overall, I will have to give this seamless fabric SPHYNX bra a 8.5 out of 10, which is still higher compared to the original SPHYNX bra. The three things that I'm not really in preference for is, number one, the band just keeps rolling up. So part of me just kind of wish it was like a short line bra. Number two, I wish that there were options for people who are flatter chested. It just has so much room in it, and I just have a wide frame and a flat chest, so I don't fill it in. And then the third thing I'm not really in preference for is that I wish it had more high up of like a back, because I don't know, I just feel like it's not hitting at a good spot, and I don't have a lean body type, so I feel like it's not the most flattering on me. So here's my like wish, that we had a seamless crop top that looked like this. So see my vision. I wish that it was a longer line top all around like this. It's kind of giving 90s like clubbing because I pulled it down, right? Have better side coverage, and then in the back, remove this wide racer back design and do like a cute two straps that go just straight down. That would be a really cute seamless crop top, don't you think? I think you can tell it's not supposed to be like this because that long line bottom band is here, and then you have no support. You have no elastic band or stitch seam here to give you any kind of support for the girls. So that's why I think if you buy this, you can't just pull it down and wear it as if it's a crop. I would recommend it if you wanted something a little bit more spicy in design, and that the seamless fabric does roll up quite a bit. Halo long sleeve baby tee, 4 different colors. This is made of halo fabric, so it's like really slinky, lightweight material, a high neckline, so full coverage top, and the long sleeves come with thumb holes and they have nice cuffs. A rounded bottom hemline. Stitch quality for the neckline is like what you see in the Rosa leggings, very soft, super brush kind of micro stitching, and you're also going to see that at the cuff area. Some princess contouring that is very subtle. Back side of it, the princess contouring line and embroidered Buffbunny emblem. It's singly lined all throughout, doubly lined at the cuffs. And for comparisons, I truly think taking this out of the package and feeling it and stretching it, it feels more dense compared to the original Halo Baby Tee. Like this one just feels more slinky and lightweight, and then this one feels slightly more dense. I don't know if that's because this is black, because darker dyes usually weigh more compared to the lighter ones, but I swear to you, so if I stretch this out, you can see the color of my silicone wedding band. I guess you can kind of see that pretty good too. I don't know, it just feels more dense and heavy, and I'm totally happy with that because I'm not a huge fan of the Halo Baby Tee. I think it's just a little bit too thin and slinky, and I think this one is a better option because it feels just a tad bit more durable. At 16.5 inches, at about 16 inches, at about 26.5 inches, from the back around 18 inches. The cuff is coming in at roughly 4 inches in length, and then for width, it is roughly a little over 4 inches. Halo fabric is sheer, mid to hip length, but here it is from the side, here it is from the back. Large arm friendly because I carry extra weight and loose skin in my arms, and as you can see, the fabric is stretchy enough where I don't feel constricted, I feel pretty good. The cuffs feel great. They're nice and smooth, and it just feels really nice. Halo fabric does snag on things, and it can run in my personal experience, so just kind of be careful that you're not doing any exercises where you're really rubbing like a barbell up against this or concrete or anything like that. This is going to wick away sweat very fast, and it's not going to show sweat in the black, but in the lighter colors it will. In terms of sizing, I would say stay true to size up if you would like. If you don't want it to cling to you, I would recommend sizing up. Overall, I would have to rank this long sleeve halo tee a 9.5 out of 10. The only thing that I'm not in preference for is that I wish that the waist was like a more rounded. So if it was shorter up here, but then longer in the front, I think it would just give you an illusion of having an even longer, you know, frame and be a little bit more slimming effect. But I really like it. I'm happy with, you know, the updates. I think it fits great in the shoulders, you know, no constriction. So I'm really happy with this update. I would highly recommend for y'all to try out this lighter weight. Then moving into the colder months, you can wear this, stay a little warm, but also wick away sweat and cool down pretty quickly as well. Next up, we have the long sleeve curve crop top, and there are no fit updates to this since the last time we saw it. Butter fabric, so it's going to be stretchy in all directions. A very simple design. It is very light support and compression. This is coming in 3 different colors: a square neckline, curved under bust detailing with reinforced thumb holes. And be doubly lined throughout the bodice part, but the sleeves are singly lined. And throughout the entire bottom, there is a thin elastic band that just kind of helps keep it stuck to you, like in place, but it doesn't give you any lift or support. So this is a crop top meant to be worn with like bra stickies or, you know, something underneath if you don't want like any nippage to show. This feels just like the other butter fabric items that since its original debut in Bailey Stewart's Juicy collection. This is the original, and she designed this top herself. This is a size large, as well as this length has been increased by, I want to say, a little over an inch. Width has been let out about an inch as well. The original feels exactly the same, doubly lined throughout the bodice, but then in the arm sleeve area it is singly lined. So yeah, the fabrics feel exactly the same. And the width for the bottom is coming in a little over 12 inches, a little under 6 inches, coming in at around 8 inches. Full sleeve length is coming in at about 26.5 inches, about 11.5 inches. Looks pretty good on the arms and compresses them down a little bit. I forgot to mention in the close-ups that the arms were also let out a little bit to just be more like wide arm friendly, and they definitely have like extra space in them compared to the original curve long sleeve crop. It's flattering, it's cute, it's like a minimal sports bra with sleeves is how I view it. There is no slots for adding bust pads, so what I do is I will take some pads and literally just put them right on over myself, and then at least I have a little bit of support in case it's cold out and a little bit of coverage in that way. In my opinion, I think is more for smaller busted women. It can be for larger busted women as well, but when you have a larger bust, you're not really going to see the under bust like curve contour. I think it's going to look more hidden. For the jump test, of course, this is minimal light support and compression. There is a very tiny elastic band that runs throughout the entire top that doesn't really lend you support, but just holds this into place. In the back, you can see just a tiny bit. It does dig into my sides just a little bit, but you have to remember I have a soft frame, so you're going to have that happen. Butter fabric does pill, so be careful when you are strength training or doing activities in this top. You want to make sure that you're not brushing up against anything. Butter fabric is going to dry sweat very well, so it's going to show sweat even in the darker colors. In terms of sizing, I think that this is true to size. I would not recommend sizing down because I think that that bottom band that goes all throughout the entire top is going to be a little bit too tight. And I wouldn't recommend sizing up because then I think the arms, the shoulder area, bust area, just overall wouldn't fit well. Overall, I would have to rank this a 9.5 out of 10 because the only things that I'm not really in preference for is that I wish that the bra shelf did have just a tiny bit more coverage, or, you know, if you wanted more coverage, you could have that. And I think that back band can stop, you know, and on the sides. I don't think it needs to continue in the back because I think it kind of digs into my back just a little bit. It's a really cute. I think that this top can not only be worn at the gym, but it can also be worn out on the day with your sweatpants, baggy jeans, on a night out on the town. I think it's a pretty versatile top. I highly recommend trying out the curve long sleeve butter square neck top if you haven't already. The tried and true Revolution sports bra, there are no fit updates to this, I think, since last year. A square neckline sports bra, longer line because of this added fabric to the bottom of the bust. It is doubly lined all through throughout, even that bottom band. On the inside of the sports bra, an elastic band that is brushed that goes all throughout the entire bottom band that allows you to have a little bit of compression and support. The straps almost look like a halter, and they lead into this really beautiful multi-crossover lattice structure design. Back has a U shape to it, silicone Buffbunny emblem. On the inside there is a bra cup shelf separator there, so that way the bust pads don't move around too much, and then the bust pads are removable from a slit at the top of the bra shelf. I'm not going to do comparisons because I've reviewed this quite a few times in my previous videos, but just wanted to show you all the details in case anybody was shopping a Revolution sports bra for the first time. It doesn't feel like the Micro Legacy shorts and leggings. This feels like the Nubray fabric that we've been seeing lately. So stretchy, like buttery soft, not exactly the original form of Nubray fabric, but nothing like Snack Collection and No Filter Collection. Sick, tried and true, fan favorite to Buffbunny collection. Great amount of bust coverage in the front and on the sides. I think the straps hit in a really good place. In the back, that multi-strap design, brushed elastic band that runs throughout the entirety of the sports bra. And these do roll up just a little bit on the sides. Revolution, I would always recommend to people as the first sports bra that they try from Buffbunny collection, just because it's so cute with its back design, but also it's durable, it's trustworthy, and it's one of my go-to sports bras. Next up, we have the Alpha sports bra. This is coming in 3 different colors and 1 print. Deep V cut with a stitch seam in the center. There are technically 4 different shades of green in here. So you have this one, this one, this one, and this one. So bottom band is a long line band, and it almost looks like 2 bottom bands were sewn together. From the side, those 2 bands split off and create the crossover bottom band design. Silicone Buffbunny emblem. Right where those 2 bands start to separate, a band here that creates the crossover upper back strap design. Darts, which are invertedly sewn stitch seams in the bust area just to help keep its like roundish shape. Panel stops till here, and then the straps continue to the back. These do tend to roll up and twist and turn because there is no like elastic band or 2 elastic bands on the inside to keep its like flat shape, so just kind of keep that in mind. And on the inside, throughout the entire bottom of the sports bra, there is this brushed elastic band that's going to help give you just a little bit of support. It does stretch pretty nicely with the bra. Removable bust pads from a slit on the side. OG Alpha sports bra had a reflective Buffbunny emblem. These are the same lengths. Under armpit coverage is just slightly higher on this one, but this one is a size large, this is a size medium. If I fold this in half, the very center stitch seam rise is the same height. I do think that this Nubray fabric with the wash, maybe with the print, this feels different. It feels like slinkier and not as like brushed as what Nubray fabric felt like before. Third Nubray fabric option. I like it, and I'm just curious if it feels like slinky and not as brushed just because it has this print on it, because they would have to do the lighter color and then add on the darker color over it. So I'm just kind of curious, you know, why it feels different. Super general measurements. Bottom is measuring in at about 14.5 inches, around 3 inches, a little under 2 inches high. The bra straps for the bottom are coming in a little under 2 inches. Bra straps for the upper back is coming in at a little over 1 inch. I realized I haven't tried on an Alpha sports bra in quite a while. It is pretty flattering. I do have a like wide upper body frame and a really flat chest profile. I don't have very like large cups. I have like a longer torso. So I think when you have that kind of like frame, having a deep V is gonna balance that out and give the illusion of having a larger bust. Straps are also really comfortable and stretchy. I don't feel any tension like on my traps. And those straps, you know, get bunched up for the jump test. I would definitely say that this is a light support sports bra. Those straps are stretchy, so as you're jumping around, the bra kind of stretches and bounces with you. I would say it's fair in having side and under boob coverage. It does dig into my lats just a little bit from where the placement of the straps are, and you can see that they're like bunched up as well, and then the bottom ones get bunched up as well. But I don't have a lean body type. What looks good on a very small model may not look the same on me as a large model. Nubray fabric is pretty durable. This one feels more sleek. I think it could potentially pill if you're rubbing up against harsh items. It does wick away sweat well. It is going to show sweat even in the print because it is a fairly lighter color. It is large and small bust friendly. However, it's just going to be up to your preference on how much cleavage you want to be showing if you're a larger busted woman. In terms of sizing, I would say this is true to size, potentially sized down if you wanted more tightness, but if you size down, you're potentially going to have these straps stretch out and then they're going to bunch up and not lay flat. And I wouldn't recommend sizing up because of those straps being stretchy. Overall, I would have to rank the Alpha Sports Bra. I think it's the V2 version, but I would have to rank this probably an 8.5 out of 10. My body has changed since the last time I reviewed it. I'm sure I'm more pudgy, but I think I'm liking it less because of, number one, the fabric feel. When it was more dense, I feel like it stood in place a little bit better, and then the straps weren't as stretchy. Number two, straps and how they bunch up. Okay, and then number three, this does roll up on me, so just keep that in mind. I think what would help with the straps laying more flat is if they had stitch seams on like both outer edges of them, because I think that they would keep the flat shape. Or if they were like an elastic band like the Candy Wrap Sports Bra, it's the straps literally are an elastic band. I think that would also help with this. But I think the Alpha Sports Bra is a great sports bra for people to try out if you want something that's going to show off your back a little bit more. I would not mind that if it was just a regular short line sports bra. As a short line sports bra, that looks really cute. An Alpha V3 or something. I would definitely recommend it just for a little bit more of a statement piece in your closet. Next up, we have the Empire long sleeve tee. This is coming in 3 different colors. It's 100% cotton, a unisex relaxed fit, soft and breathable. The S, the G, and the C for Strong Girls Club Buffbunny collection, which is super cute. I like how they overlaid it in kind of different tones of pink. Cuffs for the sleeves, as well as the neckline. Jersey material that is stretchy and ribbed, and it feels really nice and soft. Grounds t-shirt is a 3XL, and then this new one is an XL. And if I line these up, the Grounds one is just a little bit longer. So this relaxed fit long sleeve tee does hit a little bit longer, which I'm super happy for because I like my shirts long enough to cover my butt. These are all 100% cotton, but the fabric has a stretch to it, but it kind of goes back into place, and it just feels like a super micro ribbed cotton fabric. Grounds t-shirt, this was a lot more rough and robust, and it wasn't really like stretchy. This is the Pulse collection, and this one was brushed. It was really soft. So there's different washes of cotton, and I want to say that the new long sleeve tee definitely feels different compared to these two. They just all feel different, and I just want to report that to y'all because if it's not listed in the PDF, like I think it's still important for y'all to know how it feels. Long enough to cover my bum. I prefer this feeling of cotton the most because I think it just feels nice. It's super soft while being slightly like slinky, and the sleeves are longer. Neckline is that ribbed material just like the cuffs, so it's wide enough where you can put this on over your head without disturbing your makeup. Stay true to size, potentially size up like I did just for a little bit more room, you know, in the back. I would highly recommend. Next up, we have the brand new That Girl jacket. This is coming in 2 different colors, nylon and spandex mesh, a cropped fit, a high neck kind of collar, lightweight fabric, ruching or pleated design all throughout the sleeves and the top end of the jacket. PDF doesn't really give any information on all the different specifications of this jacket, so I'm going to give you as much detail as I can, especially since this is a new item. The collar, the middle of the chest area goes all the way down into the sleeves, and then the cuffs. The PDF does not state what the fabric is, but to me it feels like performance fabric, so think of bend and snap dress. So the mesh material itself only goes throughout the top part of the jacket. In the collar is doubly lined, and you can see that it is just folded in half onto itself to different like cotton-like fabric to cover up the zipper at the very top. And the fabric in the center is singly lined all throughout the bottom half of the sleeve. The cuffs are doubly lined and just folded onto themselves, and that gives you a little bit more structure and support to the thumb hole area. The bottom band of the jacket is doubly lined as well, and you can see it's the fabric folded onto itself. However, this is bonded, so If y'all have had the airbrush leggings, they have bonded material in the waistband, and what that means is there's adhesive that is added to this when it's folded onto itself, and that adhesive allows for this to have a little bit more structure, so you can see it's not stretchy, and the bonded material just gives it a lot more compression. I think that's really interesting about that design feature, but again, the PDF doesn't explain that, so I want to explain that to y'all as if you're holding the item in front of you and inspecting it yourself. A hidden dyed to match zipper, and the zipper, I believe, is the locking zipper, so it's not going to come undone as you wear this. So well polished with this added fabric. This is not airbrush, it feels like cotton. It is dyed to match metal hardware, and it has an engraved Buffbunny emblem. Unfortunately, this does not have any pockets for the back side of it. There is a contour line in the center, and then that's really it. So the sleeves are pretty large. There is a stitch seam where the shoulder part would be, and I can see that this would be more of an oversized droopy design style. As far as the details on the inside, then here's the stitch quality of that mesh being added onto that bonded bottom panel. It's kind of thick and not as smooth as I thought it might be. Original exposed mesh jacket, flat lay to it. Pocket area in the front, brush fabric on the bottom band, but see, it's only folded in half. It's not like stuck together and bonded. It does have stretch to it. Design had different like sections added to it and darts that gave it that volumized look. The zipper is dyed to match. The handle for the zipper was not, and the collar is going to be the same as what we see for the new jacket. It has a lot more volume in the ruching at the bottom. Also, the only thing I didn't like about the exposed mesh original is that the square pockets here was just kind of bam, like a big square in the middle of your chest. So I think the pockets could have been further to the sides or something, maybe give it like a contour look to it. But on this one, not mesh except for the top, and I wish that it had pockets. It's basically the sleeve, boom, the waistband of the jacket, right? Whereas the original tapered a little bit more. Size large. Newer one is a size large as well. The newer one has a lot more room and give in the sleeve area. Backs from the collar all the way down. The original is a little bit longer in length. The waistband width for the whole jacket is going to be the same for both of these. Around 17 inches wide, and at about 4 inches, about 8 inches is about 14.5 inches, 5.5 inches roughly. At about 10.5 inches, 17.5 inches roughly. Cuffs length, 3.5 to 4 inches. The width of the cuff is about 3.5 inches. Putting this on and zipping it up, the bottom band is definitely tight and it doesn't have stretch to it, so it's very compressive. So open, snug it is. This is me as is, but if I pull it a little bit more, this is like tight in the waistband and there's a lot of tension pulling on it. They are the locking zippers, so they're not going to open up. So the panel gives you a great amount of coverage. So the sleeve length is actually pretty long. If you're a taller girly, this is definitely gonna be a great length for you. Thumb holes are nice and durable. I do think that that feels really nice on the skin. The collar fits fine. I do think with the waistband starting at my under bust, and I do feel tension here and on my neck. I have a longer torso, so I think that is part of the, the sizing issue there. That ruching is so cute. I think it's very flattering how it tapers in. It makes me look curvier. I have a good amount of room in the chest area. This is definitely going to be large and small bust friendly. The mesh material on the jacket and the Perform fabric is durable. My exposed mesh jacket, I've had it for a few years now and it has not snagged. It has not had any rips in it. I do think that the airbrush fabric as well as the mesh is going to be pretty good at wicking away sweat, but this bonded waistband I think will be a little bit less able to wick away sweat as the rest of it and show sweat pretty easily. I think this is true to size or size up. Overall, I would have to give this an 8.5 out of 10. And this jacket loses 3 half points for me and my personal preferences because number one, I think it's just not quite long enough for a longer torso girl. It's pulling at my neck. Number two, I think the waistband is just a little bit too snug. That bonded fabric, again, really does not stretch at all. Towards the bottom, it just looks like a bit much for me. So either have less ruching towards the elbow down or have the pleat design rather than full-on ruching. I do just wish it had pockets. That's just my personal preference. I want everything to have pockets. I would still recommend this jacket. It is really nice open as well. I actually prefer this. Next up, we have the Threads zip-up hoodie, and I believe the last time we saw this was in the Girlfriend collection. I'm not entirely sure, but Threads hoodie has had a few updates. This is my first time reviewing it. From the PDF, it states that it only has an updated pockets to better secure your phone and an updated logo on the sleeve that is now cursive. And the hood has a Buffbunny collection embroidered emblem. There is no string. It is just sewn as such. Zipper and the zipper handle are dyed to match. Engraved Buffbunny emblem is a relaxed, kind of longer fit. Pockets on the front also have hidden compartments for your phone and your keys or any kind of small items, but it is a mesh material. The sleeves are a nice relaxed sleeve. Cuffs are a jersey or kind of like knitted ribbed material, so they'll stretch pretty well. Embroidered Buffbunny collection logo on the left. On the back side, it is nice and simple, no design features to report. Singly lined all throughout. Going over details on the inside, there's really nothing to report. Nice stitch quality there. See how nice and brushed that Threads fabric is. That the Threads cargo pants, the fabric feels like it's the same. This is the plush fleece zip-up hoodie that we saw during this winter, and it is a lot more cropped compared to the Threads hoodie, but I do want to show you the difference that the plush fleece is like a thick Sherpa throw blanket on the inside. It is super cozy, whereas the Threads is a lot more fine, you know, brushed material, and it's a lot thinner compared to the plush. The sleeve opening is going to be the same, whereas the plush fleece is just a little bit shorter in length. It was tapered inwards, hit lower belly button area, whereas this Threads is more of a straight cut hoodie, and it's going to hit like probably right at the middle of your butt. General measurements, the bottom is measuring in at about 19.5 inches. Bottom to the armpit is about 16 inches, and about 25 inches, 11.5 inches, about 23.5 inches. Back rise height is coming in at about 27.5 inches. Hood is nice and spacious, and I do think it fits pretty good in like a nice relaxed fit. The sleeves had a good amount of room in them, not bat wing, not too crazy oversized, are a good length, but taller girly, you know, these might not cover your hands like they would for me. I think I have fairly shorter arms, and the pockets are pretty big. In the back, just barely covering up my butt, so I think it fits like kind of form-fitting around there. It feels really cozy. It is a lighter weight material. The Threads fabric does pill a little bit. It's a warmer, like fleece inner lined kind of sweats material, right? So it's not going to dry sweat quickly, and it is going to show sweat because it's a lighter color. In terms of sizing, I would say stay true to size because this is a size large and it's pretty spacious. It definitely is more snug fitting around the phone. Overall, I would have to rank this honestly like a 9.5 out of 10. I think the only thing I'm not really in preference for is that I actually wish the sleeves were just a tiny bit longer, and or I wish that the hoodie had strings on it. I highly recommend to get it. It's cozy, I think it's perfect, and it's not as dense and heavy as like the plush fleece. So I feel like this is a great way to enter in the cooler months, a little bit lighter than plush fleece, and it's really cozy and cute, and I'm loving the color that this is coming out in, so I would highly recommend. Next up, we have the Micro Legacy legging, and the last time we saw this was from Catherine Mueller's No Filter collection. This has definitely had a lot of changes. These are the Micro Legacy shorts that we first saw in Catherine Mueller's No Filter collection. I actually was out in LA for that shoot. This is a size medium, and the Micro Legacies I have here are a size large, and they're actually coming in almost the same width. But right off the bat, you can see that they definitely have that tapered in waist. In the front is going to be the same, and then the rise height for the waistband is just slightly longer for the new Micro Legacy. But the back rise is actually the same length, and they are actually the same size. There's actually 4 different shades of green in here, and I just want to point them out. So there's this one, but then an even lighter one, the dark, and then this one. Full length, so 26-inch inseam length. No front rise seam, a slight V waistband, tapered in waistband, is doubly lined all throughout the top. If fabric is simply folded onto itself. A side stitch seam to the waistband, no side stitch seams that run all the way down the side. So on the back end with tri-arch glute contour. However, because it's micro legacy, they are going to resemble more of a Rosa styled, delicate, closer together above the glute contouring. Silicone Buffbunny emblem. Glute rise is just a simple wide stitch seam. That tri-arch glute contouring and how different it is compared to the micro legacy. If I line up the crotch gusset, back rise for the micro legacy is a lot shorter compared to the original. So this is going to be more of a short glute seam. The micro legacy is about 1/2 inch to 1 inch shorter in back rise height. The front rise height for the micro legacy is going to be a lot shorter. The front waistband for both of these is actually going to be the same. So there's a couple things I want to go over. Number one, the Newbury fabric starting from No Filter collection into Snack collection and so on last year, it all felt a lot more thinner, stretchier, and softer. And you can see my black silicone ring color through stretching out this Newbury fabric. Now this newest version of Newbury fabric feels more slick is the best way that I can explain it. Opaque, you can kind of see the color of my ring there. Still kind of see the, and it's like thinner, you know, you can see it, it's stretchy, but it doesn't feel as brushed and buttery like what we saw from the No Filter collection and Snack collection. The thighs feel the same width to me. However, this fabric, I don't know, it's so different. The very bottom cuffs are stretchy, and I think that they're going to have a lot of give, so if you have wider ankles, I think you'll be fine. This one, the Micro Legacy new version, is a lot stretchier than the restored Newbury fabric. It's about 10.5 inches, at about 11.5 inches, and at about 15 inches. Back rise height is coming in at about 11 inches. Are a full-length legging, and I think they are pretty flattering because of this Dahlia print, fitting a little bit more ultra high res on me, probably because of the four-way stretch that these leggings have. Good at tummy control. I have very minimal camel toe. I also think because of the print, it's not as apparent. These camouflage, the cellulite, very good. Newbury fabric pills very minimally in crotch area from, you know, chafing, but otherwise it's pretty durable. This is going to wick away sweat pretty easily, and it is going to show sweat even in this print. I do get rolling down in the waistband just slightly, but I have more rolling down in the back. In terms of sizing, I would say stay true to size or size up, because I think that these fit tapered in the waist, but in the thigh area they definitely are a little bit too snug, and I noticed them. For the squat test, of course, I have dark colored underwear so that y'all can get the truest sheerness test from me. So overall, I would have to give these an 8.5 out of 10, and the reason why this loses 3.5 points for me and my personal preferences is because, number one, I do wish that the back of the waistband didn't dip down, because I find that it rolls down more susceptible compared to the front. Number two, the fabric inconsistency. So I think this is a good happy medium between the different washes of the Newbury fabric, but I think it just should be labeled as Micro Legacy Newbury Fabric 2.0, you know? And then the third thing I'm not really in preference for is that I do think that they fit a lot tighter in the thigh area, but for your thicker hips, thicker thigh girlies, I feel like I'm being squished in, and there's not a lot of give in the thigh area. So that's just something that, you know, especially because the fabric is different, I wish that it wasn't as tight. But overall, I really do love this print, and I wish that we could have seen it in like a very dark gray, charcoal, and black. Happy that we have a print from Buffbunny collection for the leggings, but they're not too loud. I would recommend trying these out just to have some changes in your wardrobe and different options for Newbury Legacy leggings. Next up, we have the Dream Heather legging, and in general, the PDF says that these are a little bit of a higher compression and a lower rise compared to what we saw from the Vita collection. Ultra high rise. I wouldn't say it's high rise because the fabric is so stretchy in all directions. I hate to be the person, but I personally think that these have not changed since Vita. I think the PDF actually had a mistake. I think these are the same wash and feel as what we saw from the One More collection. So from the Grounds collection, that Dream Heather fabric was a lot more dense. It wasn't as stretchy. It was a lot more compressive. One More collection, it was a lot thinner, stretchier, and I think that's what this feels like, in my personal opinion. But going over the details, this is a really simple legging in terms of design details. So no front rise seam, slight V waistband, tapered in waistband, doubly lined in the waistband. It's simply the fabric folded over and onto itself. The crotch gusset is a diamond shape to it. There's a stitch seam that runs along the inside. On the side of the pant leg, no stitch seam, but there is a side stitch seam for the waistband. Back, you have micro stitching for the V contour, and it's only one single V contour line. For the glute rise for the Dream Heather flat elastic glute rise, and that's just going to help situate your glutes and separate them a little bit. Silicone Buffbunny emblem. For a quick comparison, the Grounds collection, they were the crossover ones, and I just want to point out how different the fabric feels by showing y'all, and it's definitely a lot lighter weight now compared to what it was before, but the Dream Heather that we saw from the Grounds collection was a lot more dense and not as stretchy as the newer version. You can just see the difference there and how much stretch this has. Fabric changed, and we saw that first reflected in the One More collection. The newer one has a lot more stretch compared to the OG. The crotch gusset for the glute rise is a lot longer for the Dream Heather to what we saw from Grounds. The deep V, if we match those up, a Dream Heather legging now is still a little bit longer in length at about 10.5 inches. Front to be about 10.5 inches. Waistband front is about 4.5 inches. Going to be about 15.5 inches. Of the back of the waist, 12 inches. On me, and I have a longer torso at 19.5 inches, these are coming up more of an ultra high rise because the fabric has a lot of good stretch to it. These are a full length for tummy control. They're not the most compressive. I always get a little bit of camel toe with Dream Heather fabric. These are fair. I do have thicker cellulite on this side, and I think you can still see it, but it's not as apparent in these as like aggressive scrunch butter fabric bottoms. They're good at being durable. Dream Heather fabric is a little bit more dense and has a warming feeling to it on the inside and the outside, so it's more of a warmer weather fabric. They are going to wick away sweat fairly, but they are going to show sweat even in the slightly darker colors. These actually give me the least amount of rolling compared to Seamless and the newer Micro Legacy. Very minimal rolling in the back. And for the squat test, of course, I always wear dark colored printed underwear, so that way y'all get the truest Sheerness bent over test from me. So in terms of sizing, I would say that these are true to size all around. If you size up, you're not going to have as much compression in the waistband, and you already have a good amount of stretch to these, and they're pretty good and stretchy in the thigh area. As you size down, you can have more compression, but I think if you size down, the waistband's going to roll on you a lot more, and you're going to risk these being more sheer in the back. Overall, I'm going to have to rank these like a 9 out of 10, and the reason why these lose 2.5 points for me and my personal preferences is because number one, they are sheer. Number two, I just wish that these were a little bit more dense and compressive, like the Dream Heather fabric that we saw from the Grounds collection. So I wish that these were labeled Dream Heather Fabric 2.0. Very solid, good, go-to colder weather legging, and I think they're pretty flattering. I'm happy with them overall, so I would recommend trying these out. I really like these, and I do see myself wearing these often. Even though they are sheer in the back, I think with wearing skin-colored underwear, these are going to be some of my new go-tos because they're very comfortable, and especially going into these colder months, I think that these are the perfect like winter legging. Next up, we have the Waterfall Seamless 6-inch shorts. We last saw the Waterfall Seamless leggings in the Grounds collaboration collection. There is a new back rise, like glute scrunch that shifted and more compressive under glute contouring. The reason these are called Waterfall Seamless is because it basically looks like a waterfall of ribbed material. What's interesting is that this is all ribbed, it's just woven in such a unique and different way. Some woven contouring on the side glute that runs into a bottom of the glute contouring. Upper thigh compression on the shorts as well, so I think it's really gonna like flatten out your thighs and really let your booty pop out. Contouring is also ribbed, and when you stretch it out, you won't see those little like puckers from glute part. But the glute area is just flat, seamless fabric. The back rise now has a little bit of a wider scrunch. Top of the glute contouring, and that's going to be a little bit more of a waffle, if you will. Woven seamless, that dyed Buffbunny emblem on the back. Waistband is very like straight across, doesn't have a roundness to it. It is doubly lined only in the waistband, singly lined all throughout the rest of the shorts. And shaped crotch gusset. I do think it's going to be thick thigh friendly. Hem for the pant leg is not ribbed. It's like that nice flat seamless material that we see in the glute area. Have a good amount of stretch to it. There's really nothing else to report on this. The original Waterfall seamless legging pants from the Grounds collection. I'm just going to compare these to the shorts. These are also a size large. The waistband for these is the same width all the way to the bottom of the waistband. They are measuring in the same rise height in the front, but waistband for newer Waterfall seamless is just like half an inch shorter. These are actually the exact same like back rise height for the waistband. The shorts have about the same amount of fabric in the glute rise. The glute contouring on the side pronounced on the shorts, a lot more compressive looking compared to the original leggings. They were a lot more subtle. Up to 11.5 inches, at about 8.5 inches. The inseam length, 6 inches, is going to be about 7.5 inches. Back rise height, again, you're going to stretch it out when you wear it, but this is generally coming in laying flat at about 9.5 inches. Right off the bat, I think they do smooth out my crotch area section, so it kind of just smooths that out. I don't think I'm seeing any like major camel toe. The compression towards the front is medium to high compression because of that side glute contouring really pulls at the front. There's not as much compression in the tummy area or lower belly area compared to the crotch area. So I would say that the belly control is fair. Definitely cellulite friendly, and so are the leggings because I have pretty thick cellulite on this side, but I think with that like thick ribbed material, it's camouflaged pretty well. Seamless fabric from Buffbunny collection does snag, and it can run as if you're wearing like a pair of stockings, so just be careful. It will dry sweat pretty easily, but it will show sweat even in the darker colors. There is rolling in the waistband, and that happens with all like seamless bottoms, so that's just kind of something to keep in mind. These are definitely thick thigh friendly. I always do a squat test with dark colored printed underwear because we work hard for our money, and I want y'all to know exactly what you are getting. In terms of sizing, I would definitely say stay true to size. I wouldn't size up because you wouldn't have the compression around the waistband, and I wouldn't size down because I think the underglute contouring could be too tight. Overall, I would have to give these a 7 out of 10. These are just not in my preference. So these lose 6 half points for me and my personal preferences because number one, the overall fit is just kind of all over the place. A little bit too loose in the waist, but yet it still rolls down. It's a little looser in the like lower belly area, but yet it's too tight in the crotch area, and then it's way too tight in the under glute area. I know the team added more compression, but it's so like much like a band. And if I sized up to accommodate that, I think I would have way too much room in the waistband. I think that the glute rise length is really long because this fabric is like that flat seamless. It just seems like it slides down and it stretches pretty easily. So I do find that this contouring under the glute moves downward, and it's just not it for me. The seamless fabric is pretty sheer. The side contouring really doesn't do anything for you. I think if it was started back here, it would be a little bit more flattering rather than here. So I just think overall the fit and orientation of where all of the like seamless woven contouring ribbed knitted parts are just isn't exactly there for me. And I think these kind of make me look more square. I wouldn't recommend these. I would recommend the Miracle Seamless Shorts or the Vita Collection Seamless Shorts. And I also think for the price point, they are just not there for me. Next up, we have the Threads crossover sweat pant. The short length here, cozy fleece brushed inner material. It does have slant pockets on each side, embroidered Buffbunny collection emblem. It fits high rise, straight leg. The only fit update that the PDF listed was that the waistband was tapered in a little bit based off of customer feedback. But I think the crossover design looks nice. I don't think it's like bunching up. This is stretchy. This does not have any strings in the waistband. For the pockets, have more of a cotton-like material on the inside of them. Deep, where I can definitely put my iPhone in there. On the back side, these are nice and simple, like pretty simple straight leg sweat pant. And these cargo joggers from Buffbunny collection are also threads. And if I match up the crotch gussets for the front rise, they're actually about the same rise height. For the threads material, I do think that the inside feels exactly the same. These ones I wore a lot, so they do have like, you know, pilling. Plush fleece from Buffbunny collection is going to be your thickest, like Sherpa, throw blanket kind of sweats material. Then your cloud fabric is going to be stretchy and brushed and really soft, dense feeling fabric. And then your threads fabric is going to feel like more cottony, and it's going to have the least amount of brushing, and it's also the lightest weight compared to cloud and plush. The inseam length about 29 inches, about 11.5 inches, at about 12.5 inches, about 2 inches high, 24.5 inches at about 14.5 inches. Back rise height is coming in at about 16 inches. That these are the perfect length for me, because one of my biggest pet peeves is when your pants drag on the ground and they get dirty. So I always go with like the shorter length. Again, I'm 5'6". Right off the bat, these aren't very flattering on my midsection. I have, you know, some pudge, and I just think that they don't look that great in the front because that crossover waist design, I think it naturally wants to fit to the smallest of your waist, right? The way that it's kind of V-cut. And because it wants to naturally go to the smallest of my waist, which is up here, I have a longer torso, it pulls up the front, and I just don't think it looks the most flattering on me. You know, maybe if I size up, they would look a little bit better. For cellulite, you're not going to wick away sweat fast compared to Newbury fabric, butter fabric from Buffbunny collection. These are going to show stains and sweat. The threads fabric does pill very minimal. In terms of sizing, I would say that these are true to size, potentially size up. Overall, I would have to rank these a 9 out of 10. The reason why it loses 2 half points for me and my personal preferences is because, number one, I do wish that the waistband wasn't as tapered in. I didn't try the originals, so I would have liked to try the originals where this was a little bit wider. Number two, it doesn't look super flattering on my crotch area. That could also just be because of my body type. I'm thicker and I have a belly, so it doesn't lay super flat. If you're looking for a sweat pant with a little bit of oomph to the design, these are definitely it for you. And I'm no longer doing honorary mentions just to save myself some time with editing and whatnot, but if you head over to the Buffbunny collection Instagram page, there is their community broadcast channel, which is called the BB Girls group chat. And in there are screenshots of the Lift Like a Lady PDF, where you can find all the information on all of the pieces that are launching, as well as the fact sheet, which is going to give you a short detailed description of each item and if they had a fit update or like a color change or the last time that we saw them. And you will see posts about all things Buffbunny collection, whether it is an upcoming collection, fit updates, shipping changes for items, and whatnot. My favorite item from this entire collection, for bottoms, I would have to say the Delia Print Micro Legacy shorts. I did opt into getting the shorts in a size extra large. They do fit just a little bit too big in the waist, but they fit a little bit better in my glute and thigh area. I love that Delia print. For sports bras or tops, I am really liking the long sleeve halo tee. I did not think that I would, because I don't like the baby tees, but I don't know, the black one just feels a little bit more dense, and I'm really liking the long sleeve version. Probably my third favorite item is still going to be that girl jacket, because I love a mesh jacket. I think it's a nice, sleek, kind of sexy cover that you can wear out on the day, running errands, and it's like athleisure, right? It looks really nice. It's not technically meant for working out in, but you could, or you can throw it on, you know, right after the gym. My least favorite item from Lift Like a Lady, for bottoms, it's going to have to be the Waterfall seamless shorts. If y'all know me, I am not a huge fan of seamless bottoms. They are not as powerlifter friendly as I would hope they would be. My preference for fabric to work out in: Newbury fabric, Elysium fabric, which we haven't seen in a while, and then airbrush fabric is also a really good bottom option. For tops, my least favorite would be, I want to say the Alpha Sports Bra. I think overall I just felt like not confident in it. The SPHYNX sports bra rolled up quite a bit, but the Alpha Sports Bra rolled up and the straps were just pulled and then like bunch up, so it just wasn't in my preference. And lastly, I do have to say that I feel more confident supporting and promoting Lift Like a Lady items for the strength training pillar. I think the pillars that Buffbunny collection has, there's a cardio pillar, strength training pillar, mobility pillar, recovery pillar, you know, those things. I think that they are a really great idea to generalize activewear and what the pieces are intended for, but I don't think that that's conducive to fabrics because preferences for what you wear when you work out is going to be so different. However, for strength training, I personally prefer and wear new braid fabric the most. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And as always, I really appreciate y'all for being here. So if you could please show me some love by leaving a like, comment, or sharing this video, I would greatly appreciate that. Or head over to my Instagram page. Thank y'all so much, and I encourage you to lift like a lady.